Hey guys, you're watching Shredheads, and you're watching episode 1 of Nail That Tone, a series that's all about helping you guys achieve some of the most legendary tones of all time. In this episode, we're taking a look at Slash's November Rain solo tone. We're going to talk a little bit about the gear that he used during that era, some of the gear I used to get my tone, and some other important factors. It's going to be a lot of fun, so let's get to it. Hey guys, so before we get into all the gear stuff and all the different settings and so forth, I really want to talk about the importance of finger tone and the different stylistic things that certain players do. A lot of the tone is really just playing the song correctly and playing the right notes, the right rhythms, and adding those little details that certain players play and add. In this case with Slash, he has a very signature like shaky vibrato, almost. You could almost describe it as, it almost sounds kind of bad if taken out of context. To really highlight the importance of vibrato and finger tone, let's listen to a recent Slash performance and let's listen for that shakiness in his vibrato. So as you can see in the video, Slash does have that shaky vibrato, and I tried to replicate that as much as I could in my own performance of it. I think we should really start with trying to replicate the way they play. When it comes to the gear that Slash was using during the Use Your Illusion recordings, from the research I did, it looks like Slash was using a Frank Levy modded JCM 800. From listening to the original record, and also listening to some other Frank Levy modded JCM 800s on YouTube, it seems like that mod really makes the amp super bright, and Slash has always had such a bright tone. For this particular video, I used my own personal JCM Slash signature model. Now if you don't have this amplifier, a great replacement would be any mid-gain Marshall British type amplifier. Using one of those would be great and should get you pretty close to that Slash tone. When it comes to cabinets, the research again that I was able to find, there was a great article that I found online, and I'll share the link, where it talks about all the kind of gear that Slash has used kind of over the years and kind of what he uses now, and I thought it was pretty informative. So don't know exactly how right it is, because again, we can only speculate really. The only person that would absolutely know would be, Slash himself or his guitar tech. When it comes to cabinets, from the research I was able to gather, he was using Marshall 1960 vintage cabinets with those Marshall original V30s, and that's actually what I have here. So yeah, pretty standard Marshall setup for Slash. So when it comes to the guitars, what I used was my Gibson Les Paul 2013 traditional Pro 2, which has 57 pickups, and I just used the neck pickup with the tone was all the way up, volume all the way up. Nothing too special. Again, what Slash was using at the time, some kind of Gibson with humbuckers, I think, or any really Les Paul type guitar with humbuckers should get you probably 80-90% there. So I wouldn't kind of geek out about what pickups and all that kind of stuff. I think most of it is just kind of in that Les Paul kind of sound. So I think using Marshall head, Marshall cabinet with the Les Paul pretty much gets you 80-90% there. So that's pretty much what I use, and again, that's what Slash uses. So when it comes to pedals, I use my MXR Distortion Plus. I did run it pretty hard because the JCM Slash model is really based off the Silver Jubilee. It really just is a Silver Jubilee, just in a Slash package. It's not as gainy as you would think. I remember when I first bought it, I thought it lacked quite a bit of gain. Maybe I was used to more higher gain amps, but when I first got it, I was kind of surprised that it wasn't super gainy. So in the solo, I do hear quite a bit of gain, especially to get all that sustain that Slash has in the bends, and especially in that final bend to kind of bend the note down and then back up without the note kind of dying out and having to pick it again. Is that you do have to have quite a bit of gain. So I used my MXR Distortion Plus just straight into the amp. And those were pretty much my settings on the amp. I don't think it matters too much with the settings. It really just, you got to tweak it based on your guitar and the way you hear it, at least. I'm happy to share my settings of what I used, and I know Slash himself uses MXR Distortion pedals and other MXR pedals. So the cool thing about that pedal is that it's about $60, so very affordable and just a cool pedal. Anyway, before I conclude this video, I do want to take some time to talk about the importance and really a strong emphasis that I want to have with this series and the Nail That Tone series is that I really want to emphasize the importance of not stressing over or obsessing over getting that exact tone. It's really impossible to try to replicate that exact tone, and to really highlight that point, I want to show some little small clips of just Slash himself playing live and see how different his tone sounds compared to what we heard on the album. So let's take a look at Slash himself and see how different his sound really is compared to what we hear on the record. So I hope that comparison really brings to mind why we shouldn't obsess over this kind of stuff, because even Slash himself really sounds really far away from what we heard on the original record. And it really highlights the importance of engineers and the importance that they have on recording a sound or a tone or an album, is that they play such a big role. And I think people don't ever really mention that. The engineers, you know, they know how to mic the cabinet, they know, you know, exactly how they mix the, you know, the record. And really they are that link that a lot of times as us kind of guitar players at home don't have, is that real knowledge of how we record guitar and how we can get it to sound a certain way. The best thing we can achieve is really trying to get as close as possible, but I think it's important not to stress over this stuff or to really obsess over trying to get it, because, you know, I've been there and you just go in circles really. You just kind of, you think you're getting closer, but then you hear it back and it doesn't sound quite right. And then you think, well, maybe I need a new piece of gear. And then you just kind of obsess over it. And you get into this total like consumerism of I need a new amp, I need something better. And then you just end up spending more money and you really didn't get that much closer or any closer to that tone. With this series, I really want to highlight the importance of kind of creating just a community where we can share our settings of what we use and how close we were able to get, help each other out with whatever gear we might have at home to try to, you know, replicate some of our favorite tones. Anyway, guys, I hope this video was informative and useful to some of you guys, or I hope you guys enjoyed it at least. If you did, leave a like and consider subscribing, because we definitely have a lot more of these Nail That Tone series coming out. So anyway, hopefully we'll see you guys in the next video.